My baby's never done this before and having a panic attack. Okay, first of all, babies don't do anything that's difficult or that hurts them. So if they're suddenly in a situation where it's difficult, now we have to go back to the first area of concern, life forces. Is the breath-swallow ratio off? Meaning, is something happened where they can't catch their breath and swallow at the same time? We will choose breathing over swallowing any day, especially a baby. So if they suddenly are in a panic situation, but something's happened, maybe they're starting to grow, their palate is off, that they're swallowing weird, it could be lots of things, but that's your first line of defense. The second would be balance. Are they in a position where they feel they don't have proper balance? We don't create balance by putting someone into a situation. We kind of do that with adults. Like, oh, go try walking on that balance beam to see if you can do it. And that's more like oh, I didn't fall down, so I didn't fail and I succeed. We don't work like that as babies. So even in tummy time, right, this is why I call my first true milestone, the absolute horizon, because you should be able to take your baby and take it in your arms and put it down in the crib and up again, and they're not, and again, having a panic attack. But again, you have to look at balance, breathing, or the breath-swallow ratio, or heart functions. If those three things are off, no milestone is going to create or progress. The second one going into is visual functions. Is it off? Please, 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 guys. I know every baby toy in the world has black and white. I almost said a bad word. You cannot use black and white. Black and white is there to entertain vision when it's very immature, to get it to sort of sparkle, to kick in. And then you put it down and you go with something more functional. I get it. Babies love to look at black and white. But the problem is with black and white is they can't look away. They're kind of like moths in a headlight, right? So it can be very overwhelming, very overstimulating, because they're literally like this doing it. But they can't just be like, oh, I need a visual break. Black and white does that. So please, even though it's out there in every baby store, just don't put it in the sheets, the mobiles, or especially in front of them in a position they can't get out of. And that could be why you're having a freak out attack, because it's like, oh, I'm looking at this and I can't get away. And because they can't. Babies don't self-soothing till around the age of 2. This is why we're still wiping their noses and doing all these things. If a baby's like this, or a child at 2 years old, they're still playing. They're not going like, ooh, let me get the, and if they do get it, it's like schmutz, you know what I mean? Like they're just like a big old blah, but they don't, oh, I have something on my mouth. They don't scratch their backs even until about the age of 2. So again, to sit there and the only thing that you'll see a baby do is they'll rub their eyes. And if they rub their eyes, they're very visually stressed. But those are the things that you're looking at first. So if any of those things changed, you even got to watch baby mats. They roll over. It looks cute from afar, like, oh, old McDonald. When you're sitting there this close to the mat and you're just seeing a bunch of chickens running around, that's a lot of stimulation. And also, too, I don't know why most baby stuff is anime. Why? I don't want a picture of some generic lady saying, oh, but that's mommy. No, this is mommy. This, you know what I mean? Like the chicken is a real thing. It's not like some black and white little thing with 2 legs. I get it. We teach them that, but it's sort of like, like when we're using one of those match cards, like igloo. When's a kid going to see an igloo? So I'm about functional. I'm about what's properly, you might want to go down to like maybe putting a blanket down, although watch a blanket because they can, move it around and get caught up in it. You want a mat, but I wouldn't go black and white on the mat either, but maybe white or navy or something that's solid on the background. I don't like black and white even on the walls because it takes away depth perception. It really changes the way that the kids look at things. And so those are the things that I would look at. Meanwhile, please, please, please do the newborn movement assessment. If you did it yesterday and you're seeing this thing and you're doing it today and you're seeing something different, it's there for a reason. There could be something more severe. Did the child have a seizure, last night or in the, I'm not trying to get, guys, I'm not trying to say like everything's going to be at this most severe, but I've got to cover the bases, right? I'm not here, you're here for help. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but I'm not going to sit there. I'm giving you practical resources. And if your baby suddenly changed, there's a reason, right? They don't suddenly, they're not like 4 when they're like, Mom, I don't like broccoli anymore. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. they're just there to respond. And if you're suddenly having drastic changes in that, or vision turning in, or something like that, watch Aaron's case with Margaret. It can happen. I'm not saying it's going to, but Margaret was totally fine and typical until 8 months old, and she started having just these horrible seizures, you know, so much so she had to be airlifted. Again, is that worst case scenario? Yes, I don't wish that on anyone. But we're here to take care of optimal development for your baby's milestone progression so you can have the next Patrick Mahomes, as well as to point out that things can happen and you need to be a bit more aggressive in your medical team, because they still act too like nothing's going to happen to your baby until it's like, oops, something did. And we want to bypass that, because I had the oops, something did kid, and so has Aaron and a lot of us out there, and it does happen more than they think. The numbers are not catching up to the professionals. And so, but that's where I would go after. That's your troubleshooting. It's there in a nutshell. You just got to do it. If that's a problem, everything that I asked for, just put it in a video and I'll troubleshoot it for you and just post them up. Thanks. Hi, Megan.